believe is going to change the world more than anything.
There's a lot of questions here.
And the question I'm going to be asking is, are you ready?
And now we get into the questions of science fiction.
Welcome to AI.
AI is the future, is what we've been hearing for years at this point. And why wouldn't we believe all these big tech companies? It's not like for them to lie or exaggerate any new technology.
AI is the most profound technology, more profound than fire or electricity.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, the only thing that heated up from AI was the amount of targeted ads and scams we got to see. And if you were so lucky, all the AI generated news and art boomers all seem to believe in. Thanks, Facebook. On the bright side, though, this has given people plenty of material to poke fun of AI as a product. But I wanted to look at the failed marketing and promise of AI, how society went from excited to frustrated, and what this damaged reputation means for the future of these massive tech companies. And to understand what has become the most destructive marketing campaign by any industry in terms of cost, we need to understand what was initially promised. AI, put simply, is just a machine that is able to adapt and improve all by itself. There's obviously more to it, but that's just a simplified version. This new technology was going to give us completely driverless cars and replace daily tedious tasks. However, as more tech companies jumped on the bandwagon, the marketed definition of AI changed to anything with a simple algorithm, or just to sound more futuristic to sell more products. So, sorry, Samsung, but no, your fridge is not real AI. And for what is real AI, well, we're still waiting for these automated cars to stop pretending like this is a GTA lobby. Instead, what we've been given is a small compromise of countless virtual bots trying to scam their way into every comment section on YouTube, leaving the public to question this whole new profound technology. This quick shift in the public's perception has made these companies increasingly desperate to rapidly regain control of their image at the expense of, well, any thought out marketing strategy, resulting in some of the most out of touch advertising campaigns we've ever seen, such as Apple crushing creative tools we love to use, or Google trying to convince the world AI should be used instead of organically connecting with other people.
So Gemini, help my daughter write a letter telling Sydney how inspiring she is.
This desperation also leading other massive tech companies to also fake their AI products, such as Amazon's AI store that was actually being run by 1,000 contractors, or Tesla faking the ability of their AI by faking their ads, all in the hopes to get people excited in the tech. These failed marketing campaigns have taken any initial hype from AI and further cemented any deep-rooted skepticism, while also eradicating the credibility and trust in innovation the public once had from these big tech companies. I mean, look at the iPhone. In the first 7 years, Apple went from this to, well, this, with every new model having vastly different improvements. But in the last 8 years, we've gone from this to this, or is it this one? Well, you get the point, with today's improvements all surrounding AI being able to now help you write better emails. Great. Which perfectly highlight the repeated mistake all these failed companies have had, trying to sell AI as a replacement instead of a tool to enhance productivity. This creating two massive dilemmas. One, people may want AI efficiency tools for work, but not their personal life. They may want a product that helps them more productively create simplified documents for their next meeting, but no one wants to feel as if AI is personally replacing you, especially when interacting with your kids, when trying to find ways to write a letter. This making people feel as if they're being forced a lifestyle down their throats that they never actually asked for or want. And the second dilemma, trying to sell AI as a replacement for an already working system, always almost completely ruins the quality of the end products, as we've seen with AI chatbots.
Let's turn to Meta now. The new prototype chatbot has told the BBC that Mark Zuckerberg exploits its users for money.
All the way to even using AI to completely replace the human connection when making online content.
It's a Tesla and spaghetti. Amazing. Look at all that spaghetti. Incredible.
Which brings us to the most important part of keeping a positive image in the eyes of the public, being how you respond to the lack of, well, excitement when your product isn't received as you'd hoped. As we've seen with countless of tech and AI movements, the end result is rarely what we're promised, from Meta spending billions of dollars on the metaverse being the next social hub, only for it to end up with 38 active users, becoming pretty much the most expensive meme of all time, with this trend in lack of interest being represented in every corner of the tech industry, with even 90% of new AI startups failing within the first year. So how have we seen all these corporations handle this lack of branding success? Well, by blaming the public by simply claiming its products are far too ahead of its time and that the public just doesn't understand its real potential and value. And as much as we want to believe a smart toaster is the next step in a human evolution, this is obviously as much of a poor cover-up as they come, but a cover-up that makes sense when you look at what these companies care about: money and investors. So when a product does fail, it's a lot easier to shift blame than to take active responsibility to then convince your shareholders that their company is truly innovative and that it does have true potential. This damage control, however, may have its benefits in the short term, but further alienating your potential customers creates long-term hurdles. This putting further pressure and stress on companies to create even better products to shift this narrative, which is why we see so many new AI businesses closing shop so quickly. However, despite this financial risk, this is still being seen as a worthy gamble by the tech industry, with the hopes that this will eventually pay off, especially with the competition being as tough as it is. No company wants to be left behind. And with billions of dollars spent on AI technology, such as the improvements of chips and graphic cards, investors are also buying into this hype, further pressuring massive AI tech companies to pour all this money into technology until they themselves strike gold. But even if they do strike gold, this won't automatically change the public's image of these companies, especially after years of prioritizing profits over customer experience. This opening the door to the final part of the video, being where is this AI movement heading towards? And this is where things get very unpredictable, but in a very interesting way. When you look at the biggest companies in the US, it almost feels as if they're unmovable, as if they're going to be here forever. However, no company is guaranteed to enter the next decade as strong as they are now. If we go back only 30 years, back to 1995, only 6 of the biggest companies in the top 10 by market cap were still in there in 2005, and then only 3 of those in 2015, and only 6 of them in 2025, with only one of those companies being around since 1995, being Microsoft. And with these companies facing credibility dilemmas in terms of trust and privacy, you can expect the next decade to be no exception. Now, of course, these big tech companies control massively popular services such as social media, information, and content, this allowing them to buy out any competition, as well as being able to force the public to use their products from new algorithms and AI products. But a monopoly on an industry doesn't guarantee longevity, as we've seen with Blockbuster and Kodak. And especially if these products consistently underdeliver, you can start to expect replacements coming along, such as ChatGPT with Google's search function, as people have been complaining of the constant bombardment of ads, and Blue Sky coming along and being seen as a Twitter alternative. At the end of the day, the public will always have new options, and if a company believes they can offer a better alternative to that public, then it's going to be far easier for that user base to jump ship if they already lack any real trust in the original company. So are we going to see all these massive tech companies find a balance between short-term profits and customer satisfaction, or are we just going to keep seeing disastrous branding fails from the AI space, which I've covered in this video right here if you're interested? But that's it. Thanks for watching.